Thanks, Chuck. Reno is about to become the new Motor City as Hot August Nights Reno kicks off tomorrow. And to help get the spirit rolling, News 4's Will Von Toggen took a trip down to the National Auto Museum. He shows us a little bit more about one of Reno's more permanent ties to classic and antique cars.
Keeping history alive, it's really what we're all about here.
The National Auto Museum in Reno, Nevada is truly a one-of-a-kind marvel, showcasing some of the finest and rarest examples of man-made engineering. It's art, mechanics, and history all rolled into one.
You know, I've seen old cars, of course, but I think it's wonderful that you have something like this.
A highlight of the museum is how the cars themselves are actually displayed, from blacksmith shops of the early 20th century to Main Street America. Putting the cars into visual and historical context adds to the overall experience. But behind the chrome and polished brass, there's another aspect of the museum that makes it a truly unique experience.
The National Automobile Museum plays home to over 200 cars, many of which you'll see nowhere else in the world. And the most amazing thing is that many of these cars are fully functional. But what exactly does it take to keep these cars in such great condition?
Since the maintenance shop is for authorized personnel only, it might be a good idea to first get yourself authorized. Inside the shop, you'll find out firsthand why such great care is given in order to keep these cars alive.
Unfortunately, automobiles don't like to sit. Cooling systems, rubber parts, and things like that continue to deteriorate while an automobile is actually sitting stationary. And I think Miles Collier called it death by museum.
Jay Hubbard is head of the shop at the museum, and he believes that the maintenance of these old treasures provides a greater purpose beyond simply making them presentable for display.
But I think it adds an entire new dimension when someone can actually see it run.
Guests at the museum seem to feel the same way.
They were just for display, but they can run?
So now let me ask you this. When something goes wrong on these that you haven't dealt with in the past, how do you go about fixing it? I mean, you can't just run down to AutoZone, buy a book on how to, and come back and do it.
Happily, Mr. Harrow, one of his lasting legacies is the creation of his automotive library. So if I need to look at mechanical or parts literature and stuff like that, usually I have it back here.
For Jay, keeping these machines alive gives him a chance to share his love of automotive history with the rest of the world. And in return, he hopes others will be able to walk away with something of their own.
A sense of appreciation for the sweat of those people that came before us and what they did. And on a personal level, it becomes a labor of love.
Will Von Toggen, News 4.
And if you're looking for a fun family activity to beat the heat, you might consider heading down there to check things out. The museum's open 7 days a week and offers guided tours.